It begins as rain in Angola. After passing through Zambia, the Zambezi River plunges off a cliff nearly twice the height of Niagara Falls. The roar can be heard 25 miles away. In the Tonga language, the falls are called Mausi Otunga, the smoke that thunders. In English, they are called Victoria Falls. From the tourist bustle of the falls, it's a short flight to the Okavango Delta, a fertile swamp home to white and black rhinos, more than 400 species of birds, and lions. Those are just some of the stunning sights that await you in Botswana, Zambia, and Zimbabwe. In the Okavango Delta, southern Africa displays its tremendous diversity of species, including the largest population of elephants on Earth. The culture and people here are also truly inspirational. What will you remember from your ultimate African adventure?
One would think that if you are born in Africa, you will see these animals on daily basis. My first lion sighting was when I was 22 years old. Now I've got 3 children aged 10 to 18, and they haven't seen lions in the wild. And that alone explains how much these animals are going through in terms of losing their land.
The greatest danger to the lion population in Africa is definitely the human impact. Land is a very big issue in Africa today, and that stems from the colonial years, and people are now wanting to be a part of the greater scenario. And there's a conflict between conservationists to a degree and people that live on the outskirts of game parks and nature reserves. It's wildlife moving onto communal areas, moving onto farms, taking domestic stock, and sometimes even taking human beings, and that makes people angry to a certain degree. In Africa, it's a case of anything goes. Poison, high-powered rifles, entrapments, snares, anything you can think of controlling or killing animals is used to kill lions. I've been studying lions in Africa for almost 30 years through my conservation and wildlife work. We saw a herd of sable antelope that were unaware that the lions were in the area, and again our guide said we must just wait and see what happens, but it was obvious that they'd caught one just by the sounds. The whole pride of 14 was feeding on one, what we presume was a very small, very young antelope.
Lions actually hold an important niche in the wild by controlling population of their prey species. If you take out any of the animals, for example, in this case lions, the whole ecosystem is affected to a certain stage that even the prey species of the lions will end up also dying, and as a result other animal species, they might go into extinction as well. When I saw my first lions in the wild, my eyes were filled with tears of joy and excitement. It really touched me that I told myself that one day I'll be involved with wildlife.
Lions are a dominant part of the African psychology.
These animals, they used to roam freely throughout Africa, but now they've been pushed into small pockets of land dotted throughout the continent.
Conservation organizations are now in the process of trying to work out a solution. People have to benefit from wildlife to protect it. It's a case of education, educating people to the value of having wildlife on their properties, the value of tourism instead of short-term gain, looking at the long-term solution.
You can actually contribute in helping to conserve African lions by coming down here to Africa and participate in wildlife activities. The proceeds, they basically go back into wildlife conservation to organizations that are in Africa that are working tirelessly in conserving wild animal species, including lions.